Hello to you from Inside Drug Discovery. This video covers a new drug, Myqorzo, which was recently approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. This video discusses the drug's medicinal chemistry properties as opposed to outcomes in patients and the drug's efficacy. Myqorzo was approved on December 19th of 2025. Myqorzo is approved for the treatment of symptomatic, obstructive, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy in adults. Myqorzo's active pharmaceutical ingredient is aficamten. The drug is administered orally, once per day, and in a 5 milligram dose. The dose may be increased above 5 milligrams over time based on patient response. The sponsor for the NDA is Cytokinetics. A link to the prescribing information insert of Myqorzo is shown on this slide as well as in the video description. I personally needed help with the indication, so I'm going to expand on it a bit on this slide by breaking out each term. Cardiomyopathy is any disease that affects heart muscles. Hypertrophic refers to enlargement of a tissue or organ from enlargement of cells. In Myqorzo's indication, the enlargement involves the wall of the ventricles, especially the left ventricle. Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is often abbreviated as HCM. Obstructive refers to blocked blood flow, which can happen in certain cases of thickened ventricle walls. Obstructive hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is OHCM. That's generally a lowercase letter O. Symptomatic means that the patient is experiencing effects from HCM. Shortness of breath is a common symptom. Aficamten acts as an allosteric and reversible inhibitor of cardiac myosin motor activity. Through its mechanism of action, aficamten reduces the contractile force of myosin proteins in the fibers of cardiac muscle and ultimately alleviates patient symptoms. According to IUPhar's Guide to Pharmacology, the IC50 of aficamten on bovine cardiac myofibrils is 1.4 micromolar. Here we have the structure of aficamten and its physicochemical properties based on Swiss ADME. I must say that as an organic chemist, I do like the structure of aficamten. I'm a nitrogen heterocycles guy, so I like the combination of the oxidiazole on one side and the pyrazole on the other. The properties of aficamten are fully consistent with an orally administered drug. There is not a lot to discuss with these properties. Now we have the PK properties. The half-life is quite long for a small molecule drug at 80 hours. That's over 3 days. As a once-per-day drug with such a long half-life, the prescribing information states that the patient will not reach pseudo-steady-state concentrations of the drug until day 17 of dosing. The volume of distribution is quite low at 313 liters. The clearance is also quite low at 2.6 liters per hour. I do not list the oral bioavailability in the chart because it is not known according to the prescribing information. I do want to circle back to the volume of distribution. 313 liters, assuming a 70 kilogram patient mass, is about 4.5 liters per kilogram. I admit I have a hard time interpreting a volume this small for a drug that needs to penetrate tissues and act on intracellular targets. The true volume of distribution is likely even lower than 4.5 since, because the bioavailability is not known, the volume in this table is actually VD over F. F is almost certainly less than 1. So the actual volume of distribution could be somewhat less than 4.5 liters per kilogram. If someone has insights into the volume of distribution of this compound, then I would appreciate it if you would share that feedback in the comments section of the video. For metabolism and excretion, the drug is primarily metabolized by CYP2C9. The prescribing information mentions 2 inactive metabolites. The structures are not disclosed. I could not find legitimate structural information on the compounds, but a little bird named Google AI implied the 2 main metabolites are hydroxylated compounds, maybe around the aromatic ring. The drug and drug-related material are excreted primarily via the feces. with relatively little being unchanged parent drug. The main warning for Myqorzo is a risk of heart failure. This warning has a black outline on this slide because this is indeed a boxed warning on the prescribing information. Another warning, although not a boxed warning, is a risk of drug interactions. Myqorzo is a potential victim in drug interactions. CYP inhibitors can increase the half-life of aficamten and increase toxicity. CYP inducers can shorten the half-life and reduce efficacy. The highlights of the prescribing information only mention one adverse reaction. Quote, the most common adverse reaction was hypertension. Unquote. This adverse reaction was observed in 8% of patients. That concludes the NDA approval of Myqorzo, which was announced by the U.S. FDA on December 19th of 2025. Myqorzo contains aficamten as its active pharmaceutical ingredient. Myqorzo is approved for treatment of symptomatic obstructive hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, or leave a comment. Take care.